In a quiet, snow-dusted town in Canada lived an elderly couple, Arthur and Eleanor. For years, they had poured their love and savings into raising their only son, David. Now, in their twilight years, they lived with him and his wife, Clara, hoping for a peaceful retirement surrounded by family. But peace was a distant dream. The large house, once a symbol of their son's success, had become a gilded cage. David, consumed by his career, was often distant. Clara, however, was a different story. She saw Arthur and Eleanor not as family but as burdens. Her greetings were clipped, her smiles were thin, and her sighs were heavy whenever Eleanor tried to help in the kitchen or Arthur offered a piece of advice. "Mother," Clara would say, snatching a dish towel from Eleanor's hands, "you'll just make a mess. Please, just go and sit down." Or she'd complain to David loud enough for them to hear, "Your parents are always underfoot. We have no privacy, David, none at all." Arthur and Eleanor would retreat to their small room, their hearts heavy. They'd sit by the window, watching the world go by, feeling like ghosts in their own son's home. They had given him everything, their time, their energy, their life savings to help him start his business. Now they were treated like unwelcome tenants. One evening, the tension boiled over. Clara had planned a dinner party for David's colleagues. Eleanor, hoping to contribute, had baked her famous apple pie, the same recipe David had adored since he was a boy. When Clara saw it on the counter, her face hardened. "What is this?" she demanded. "It's for the party, dear," Eleanor said softly. "David loves it so much. My caterer is handling dessert," Clara snapped. "We don't need this rustic thing cluttering up my menu. It's embarrassing." She picked up the pie and, without a second thought, scraped it into the trash can. Eleanor stood frozen, a silent tear tracing a path down her wrinkled cheek. Arthur, who had witnessed the whole thing, stepped forward, his voice trembling with a mixture of anger and sorrow. "Clara, that was cruel." David walked in at that moment. "What's going on? Clara, what's wrong?" "Your mother is trying to ruin my party," she cried, playing the victim. "I work so hard to create a perfect evening for your career, and she does this." David looked from Clara's furious face to his mother's tear-streaked one. He sighed, a sound of pure exhaustion and annoyance. "Mom, Dad, can't you just try to stay out of the way? Just for one night? Is that so hard?" His words hit them harder than any physical blow. It wasn't just Clara anymore. Their own son saw them as a problem, an inconvenience. The love they had nurtured for a lifetime felt like it had vanished into thin air. That night, they didn't sleep. They packed a small suitcase with the few belongings they cherished. The next morning, as the sun rose, they left a simple note on the kitchen table. It read, "Dear David, we are sorry for being a burden. We love you." Mom and Dad, they walked out into the cold Canadian morning with nowhere to go. They used what little pension money they had to rent a tiny one-room apartment across town. It was cold and bare, a stark contrast to the luxury of their son's home, but here at least their tears were their own. They had their dignity and they had each other. Days turned into weeks. At first, David and Clara felt a sense of relief. The house was quiet. They had their privacy. But soon, a different kind of quiet settled in an empty, hollow silence. David would come home from work and instinctively glance towards his parents' room, expecting a light or the sound of the television. There was only darkness. He missed the smell of his mother's cooking, even if Clara had dismissed it. He missed his father's quiet wisdom, the stories he would tell about the old days. One day, David was cleaning out the garage and found his old childhood chest. He opened it and saw his first baseball glove, a gift from his father. He saw photo albums his mother had painstakingly put together, each picture captioned with her loving handwriting. A wave of guilt and shame washed over him so powerful it brought him to his knees. What had he done? He had traded his parents' unconditional love for a life of superficial comfort. He raced to Clara. "We have to find them," he said, his voice choked with emotion. "We have to bring them home." Clara, who had also felt the growing emptiness, nodded without argument. The victory of having the house to themselves felt bitter and lonely. It took them a week to find the small apartment building. When David knocked on the door, it was Arthur who opened it. He looked older, more frail. Seeing David, his expression was not of anger, but of deep, weary sadness. "Son," he said simply. David broke down. "Dad, Mom?" "I'm so sorry," he wept. "I've been a terrible son. A fool. Please ... please come home." "The house isn't a home without you." Eleanor appeared behind Arthur, her eyes filled with a mother's pain. They saw the genuine remorse in their son's tears. They saw a flicker of the little boy they had raised. Slowly, Eleanor nodded. They moved back in, but this time things were different. David made time for them every day. He listened to his father's stories. He savored his mother's cooking. Clara, humbled by the experience, began to see them not as intruders, but as the loving heart of the family. She started asking Eleanor for her recipes and sat with Arthur in the garden, listening to his advice on growing roses. The house was filled with warmth again, not from the expensive heating system, but from the rekindled flames of love and respect. David learned the most important lesson of his life. Success, wealth, and a big house are meaningless if you lose the people who loved you into existence. Our parents are not burdens to be managed, but treasures to be cherished. They are the roots that hold the family tree steady, and without them, we are simply adrift. Remember to honor them, for one day, all we will have left are the memories we chose to create. Thank you so much for watching. If this story touched your heart, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel for more content that matters. We'll see you in the next one.